Hey guys, just wanted to go over the Herald of Thunder Autobomber build that I've been playing recently. This build is great for mapping. It's very smooth, very chill. You just walk through maps and stuff explodes around you. The entire screen just blows up. It's pretty much a zero button build. It's a complete walking simulator. You just run through the map and everything dies. It's not like the heist bossing DPS build, but it's enough to comfortably do Ubers. There's also some new tech this league that we can use to help boost this build. And apart from that, yeah, we've got like average of over 220% movement speed while mapping. You can do T17s fine. And yeah, it's not the cheapest build, but I can go into that later. So what is this build? Yeah, we're using Herald of Thunder, which is a Herald skill. And basically what it does is when you kill a shocked enemy for a duration, you will launch lightning bolts around you, which deal damage to enemies. Yeah, so normally this will only proc on kill, but we're using the unique ring Storm secret, which allows the storm to proc when we shock an enemy as well. So the way we're doing that is by using the Elementalist Ascendancy with the node Shaper of Storms. So our hits always shock. That means that if we can just Flame Dash, we can proc Shaper of Storms, which shocks the enemy. That'll set off Herald of Thunder. And to keep this looping, what we do is we have a cast when damage taken setup with Crackling Lance of Disintegration. So the other part of Storm Secret is that you take damage when Herald of Thunder hits an enemy. So as long as that's hitting enemies, we'll take enough damage for cast when damage taken to proc, and then Crackling Lance will go off, hit some enemies, which will shock them, and it'll re-trigger Herald of Thunder from Storm Secret. So it's generally pretty hard to scale Herald of Thunder's damage, because the damage from the lightning bolts isn't considered spell damage. So the main way we're scaling that is with gem levels and crit. So for gem levels, we have this new Eyes of the Great Wolf Talisman. It can roll +2 to Herald skill gems and another damage mod. And then yeah, at base that'll give us +3 Herald skill gems. And if you're lucky or rich, you can buy one with 100% modifier magnitude, and that'll give you +4 Herald skill gems, and like for this one it'd be 30% lightning pen. So that is the first way to do it, and I'm also using a level 4 empower here. If you're rich, you can use a awakened empower level 5 for even more damage. Now for crit, we're using Scornful Herald support, which gives the Herald a base crit, because normally Heralds can't crit. So this gives us 14% base crit. And another cool thing we're doing this league is they added the power charge implicit to rings on corruption. So yeah, I've got 2 of these Storm Secrets with +1 max power charges, and we're getting 3 power charges on the tree, which gives us a total of 8 power charges. And each power charge gives us 50% increased critical strike chance. So with 8 of those, it's 400% increased. So it makes it relatively easy to cap our crit, along with some staff nodes on the tree. And the way we're generating those power charges is with the power charge on critical support. The other cool thing with power charges is that if you get the Elegant Hubris, you can roll some notable mods that scale with power charges. So Eternal Separation gives us energy shield per power charge, and External Exploitation gives us damage per power charge. And then you can also take Supreme Ostentation, so we don't have to worry about attributes. Yeah, apart from that, we're taking this wheel of power charge stuff, gives us some more scaling with power charges, and then there's also increased AoE per power charge on this staff notable. And we also use the Annihilating Light staff, which gives us triple damage with elemental skills, which is crazy. It's just 3x damage, but it comes with big downside of reduced elemental resistances. We're solving that in this build with Mageblood and 3 Ellie Flasks. In terms of explosions, there's the new Vestigial modifiers you can get on armors. So I'm using an incandescent heart here with the Impulses explosion mod transferred onto it. It's like fairly cheap when I bought it. I'm not sure what the pricing is now. But yeah, basically shock the enemies you kill explode, dealing percentage of their life as lightning damage, which cannot shock again. I think this is a slightly scaled down version from the Impulses, which has 5% of their life as lightning damage. But this is still fine because we scale up the damage plenty anyway. And the way we are shocking enemies is basically we're just relying on the Crackling Lance of Disintegration proccing. We'll shoot out a beam which should hit a bunch of enemies, which cancel them all as shocked. Our glove gives us shocks you inflict spread to other enemies within 1.2 meters. So any enemies clumped up around them will also be considered shocked. And also Oriat's End gives us 27% chance for enemies to explode, dealing a percentage of their life as a random element. So yeah, this will help us chain explodes, and any enemies that get caught in this explosion and don't die will also get considered shocked, which means they can proc the explosion from the Impulses mod. Yeah, apart from that, we're also using raised Spectres. This is another way to kind of boost our damage and survivability. So I've just got two Spectres here. One is the Perfect Warlord, which gives us endurance charges, and a Vitality Aura, which doesn't really do too much. And the other one is the Perfect Spirit of Fortune, which gives us Wrath Aura, which doesn't affect us because we don't deal spell damage. But the important one is the Spirit's Blessing, which gives us your lightning damage is lucky. And that's a pretty big damage multiplier. Yeah, I'll be honest, the Spectres don't really stay alive if you're doing super juiced maps. But yeah, if you're just doing like Alkengo, bossing, they tend to stay alive. Yeah, these things will be up, which is pretty good. As we're playing Elementalist, obviously, yeah, we have the golems. So Flame Golem for the damage and AoE, Stone Golem for more ES, Stone Golem safeguarding for a bit of reduced melee damage taken, and Lightning Golem just to help with our mana regeneration. And yeah, one other cool thing. Some other cool things is that with the socket color change, Herald of Thunder, you can put that into a blue socket. It gets 10% quality, and the quality on Herald of Thunder is actually pretty good. It gives us that 10% quality gives us 10% hit frequency, which is a fairly good DPS increase. And another thing I'm using is Crackling Lance of Disintegration, which I talked about earlier. Yeah, this gives us plus 10% max effect of shock, and then from quality normally you get a plus 10% max effect of shock. But with the socket coloring quality, we can get up to plus 25% max effect of shock, which allows us to hit up to 75% shock on enemies, and we scale our shock effect with Overshock and another medium cluster, as well as the static blows wheel here, which allows us to hit a bit under 75%. We should get the rest of it from this new support, Coursing Current, which gives us increased effect of shock, especially once I level up to 3 or 4. And the other cool thing about this support is that it'll give us max chill on enemies. So basically we're permanently applying a 30% chill whenever we shock an enemy as well, which is really good. And the rest of the gems basically just have conductivity on a hex touch, so when Crackling Lance goes off, triggers conductivity. Got Withering Step on the cast when damage taken set up. This is just for movement speed. And then yeah, phase run linked with more duration, convocation, automation. Phase run's just for movement speed, convocation's just to help keep the Spectres alive, and keep them consistently within range of you. And then we've got Flame Dash here, just to get over ledges, and since it does do a small hit, there is a small hit damage portion, we can use that to start off the Herald of Thunder loop. And then finally Mana Infused Staff. This is just there to give us more block chance and less mana cost of skills. The damaging part of this can also be used to proc Herald of Thunder as well. So going over the passive tree, as I said, we have an Elegant Hubris here, just giving us block, energy shield and power charge scaling. And then as well as that, we're using the Supreme Ostentation Keystone, which means our attributes, we have no attribute requirements, but we also don't gain any benefits from attributes, which is pretty fine because for strength we don't need the life from it, we have no dex nodes, and then for int, normally we lose the energy shield from int, but they nerfed that 1 or 2 leagues ago, so we don't gain as much. So I've just tattooed energy shield a bunch everywhere on my tree, and for the rest of it I've just tattooed lightning damage, and there's a node here with lightning res to help cap our res. We've also got some fire res there. You can probably tattoo these with block tattoos later. And yeah, we're also taking Chaos Inoculation, so we're just immune to chaos damage. This works well with Incandescent Heart, which causes us to take elemental damage from hits as chaos damage. So that just means like 25% less elemental damage, because that damage is, we're immune to that chaos portion. And yeah, we've got the 3 power charge nodes here, bunch of staff block. We also have this staff block mastery, so during mapping this is pretty much always up, because our Herald of Thunder does hit quite hard. Bunch of energy shield recovery nodes, Zealot's Oath, Ghost Reaver, ES on kill from Soul Thief. We have a energy shield Light of Meaning, some more block nodes here, Golem node. We need to take these Herald reservation nodes so that we stay under like 95% reservation. And then I have these Rune Grafts, so Rune Graft of the Fortress for 40% increased defenses. The attributes don't matter because of Supreme Ostentation. Rune Graft of the Warp, we need this to make sure our phase run buff is always up. And I also have Rune Graft of the Agile, which means Elusive's effect of you is instead increased in the first 2 seconds. So that just gives us a better average uptime of the Withering Step elusive buff. And yeah, I have 2 clusters. Say this works well because we always shock, and then Coursing Current always allows us to apply chill, and then we're also taking Shaper of Flames for phys mitigation. So we're getting all 3 benefits from Sadist. Storm Drinker's there for the leech, and the Ellie Pen's good. And here we're taking Overshock and Sadist. Overshock is very good because it scales our shock on skin, along with this medium cluster with Overshock and Astonishing Affliction. And yeah, we've got to use Lone Messenger on the small cluster jewel here, which gives us like 100% more damage with our Herald skills, but it disables our aura skills. We're not using any auras, so that's fine. And with this medium cluster we have Fast Power, Assert Dominance. This is just purely for AoE and explosion chaining. Same here, we've got Fast Power and Magnifier, a bit of crit. And then this medium is just a bit of damage. So we've got Herald skills deal 40% increased damage, and just a little bit of base crits into the Herald. And then in terms of jewels, yeah, we've got just some crit multi, energy shield, same here, a bit of spell block as well, crit multi, energy shield, and then Storm Shroud, so it modifies to chance to avoid being shocked, apply to all elemental ailments, and the way we're getting avoid shock chance is on the flask with Mageblood. We also have the Impossible Escape here, which allows us to get these points. without pathing through the useless nodes. And yeah, just going over the Ascendancy, Legion to Primordial lets us use golems without constantly resummoning them. Shaper of Storms, hits always shock, it's a big damage multiplier, and it lets us easily set off the Herald of Thunder loop. Shaper of Flames, this is basically just to give us some physical damage mitigation. Note that we're using LE focus in the Herald of Thunder setup, so Herald of Thunder can't actually ignite, you're just relying on Crackling Lance and Mana Infused Staff to apply this ignite. Your explosions can also apply it as well. And then Mastermind of Discord for some exposure and mana regen. The other thing to note is I haven't taken Roiling Tempest because of two reasons. One is that since we can't deal fire damage, the ignite won't be countered, so Shaper of Flames is useless. We lose a lot of physical mitigation there. And second of all, it'll kind of mess up our Oriarth's End explosions. So yeah, basically 2/3 of the time we're not doing non-lightning damage, so the explosion will do 0 damage. And just going over the defensive stat sheet quickly, got 84 fire and cold res, 85% lightning res, immune to chaos damage. During maps we have over 6000 energy shield, and 25% of LE damage is taken as chaos, which means 25% less LE damage. We have 50% attack block here, during mapping it's 60%, and then we have capped spell block. And we're immune to all ailments. And yeah, with the Warlord up, we've got 3 endurance charges. A helmet, we have 7% physical damage from hits taken as chaos damage, so it's just 7% less physical damage. And then, yeah, as I mentioned before, there's the Shaper of Flames Ascendancy, which also gives us some more physical mitigation. Apart from that, we have Energy Shield Leech from Ghost Reaver, on kill, Energy Shield Recovery, and Zealot's Oath for just some passive regen that we get from the Golem. In terms of map mods to avoid, probably some of the Rippier mods, like minus max, less recovery. If you have enough map effect, then you also can't do monsters have chance to avoid ailments, because then you just can't shock at all. Overall, it's a pretty chill build. You just walk around, you watch things explode. Yeah, if your wrist is hurting, this is a perfect build for you. I would say it's good all around. It's fairly tanky, great for mapping, can kill Ubers. But yeah, that's it for me. Catch you guys next time.